Okay, today's video is about building a complete rack system for travel. Especially, I'm going to talk about the front rack today. That is the rack at towards the front of the bike that you can see that is actually started as the Specialized pizza rack. I've had it for, what is it, since 2017, so that would be about 7-8 years or so now. But it took me quite a while, 2 or 3 years, before I found the basket to go on top, which I've described before in some other videos. Actually started life as a water glass rack for restaurants, and I found it in a sort of a inexpensive general store for household goods and tools and such. But what I was never able to find was the correct panniers or bags that go that attach to this particular rack. I've tried quite a few, but even up until just in the last month, I kept trying bags that were too large. So you may have seen the previous video, which has essentially the same bag, which is the Fjällräven Kanken backpack, and this one is the medium size. I tried the well, I'm sorry, this one, actually the medium size is on the back now, but this one is the small size. The small size actually ended up fitting perfectly into the bottom of this rack. The large size is obviously way too big, and the medium size was yeah, just a bit too big. But this one is perfect. It fits right into the rack from top to bottom on the bottom section, and then on top I am of course still using that same basket, which is extremely lightweight, and the only place I found it for sale was in Chiang Mai, but I bought the first one in Chiang Mai, I'd say about a year after I bought the rack in Germany. The rack I bought in Germany in 2017 while on a trip through northern Germany. It happened to be that I bought it at a specialized dealer, or actually a bike and sports shop by the name of Buell Bike and Sports in Oldenburg in northwestern Germany. Otherwise, you know, I'm still, so as you can see, I consider this to be like a full system, because it sort of fits everything. Now that bottom area is no longer empty, and it's also not hanging past the rack. In this whole last exercise of making these Fjällräven Kanken bags fit my bicycle, I have actually come to the conclusion now that my decision on the last video on this was actually wrong. I put the large bag onto the back, but now in the end, it kept interfering with the derailleur in the back, which could be a real disaster on a long, you know, on a short or a long trip, but definitely on a long trip. And I've also, for the moment, actually taken off the trunk bag from the top, but that's because that trunk bag either just needs a really thorough cleaning or it needs to be replaced by a new one. So everything's always going to be a work in progress in a way. But this medium size Fjallraven Kanken backpack is perfect for here, and I can support it with some zip ties, but actually the zip ties aren't really needed to make it hang on the rack. So I could see on some local trips doing it without any, but here, just to show it, I have actually attached it just using the you know, the straps on the bag itself, but I have put in a few zip ties. You can see there's 4 of them on the top, and then a couple of them on the sides too, to just put it into the rack like that, and you know, on this side too. But they can be removed very quickly, and you know, I can always carry some more zip ties with me. And this is a pretty good solution here. So it's the mid-size bag, which I only have one of right now. And then the large size bag, I'm actually wearing one of them now. It's now being used as my backpack. So I think that is the final solution. Otherwise, just since I only want to talk about the carriers on this particular video, yeah, this is it. I think if you have any questions, you know, please ask, of course, you know, but this is the mainly here I wanted to report on the yeah, on the front rack. And now, instead of just being a rack for holding the basket in the top, it's actually a full system. So it's a front rack system now. Yeah. And where we are at the moment is actually another one of my favorite places. It's actually my favorite corner temple. This is the Northwest Prasat Trung. It's actually the most complete. I mean, there are statues everywhere here. Very beautiful. I would call these the Apsara. They're like temple guardians. They're not the dancing girls, right? It's yeah, it's in very, very, very good condition for close to 1,000 years old. And I'll back off the scene here for a minute. I rarely run into anyone here, but like I said, this is the Northwest Prasat Trung. Prasat Trung meaning corner temple of the ancient city of Angkor Thom. All right, so it's a beautiful place, and there are rarely any other people here, so I sort of I can think of it as my own temple here, you know. But yeah, anybody has any questions, please ask. I'm not sure whether this is completely the last stage of this build, but it sort of feels like it to me. It's very well balanced. You know, nothing is interfering with the drivetrain at this point. Yeah, I think this will be my my touring setup, plus a light backpack always. Like I've got the large backpack on right now, but it's, you know, I don't need to put much into it, right? And just have to add one more of the medium size bags to the rear rack, and we're ready to travel. We do need some sponsorship and donations if you feel like it. But we do need some kind of a sponsorship to get going. From here to Thailand's not going to be that difficult, but I can't stay that long in Thailand, so I have to, because long visas are kind of expensive. So then from there I will move on to the next destination, and you know, there will be some trains and boats and airplanes involved. And right now I'm thinking of maybe my destination being Oregon rather than Washington. And Corvallis, Oregon is actually one of my favorite towns at the moment. So let's hope that that's where we're headed, and then we'll start doing the United States. You know? So if you have any questions, please get in touch. Thank you very, very much. And please subscribe, and like a lot.